Can hotels increase direct bookings while spending less on marketing? I believe the answer is yes, and in this video I will share my research on why I believe it's possible. My name is Daniel Kerex, and through my research on how hotels can increase direct bookings, I found something surprising. For a long time I thought it was a technical challenge, but it turns out that there is a simple concept that lets us look at this problem from a different perspective, and in this video I would like to share what this concept is and how we can take advantage of this in the industry to increase direct bookings. First, I will go over why some guests visit the hotel's website but still end up booking through an OTA. Then I will talk about how to reverse this dynamic, and at the end I will share a simple optimization borrowed from other industries that faced similar problems years ago and they found a way to fix it that we can replicate in the hospitality industry. So if we look at the market today, there is a large segment of travelers who are not brand loyal. They don't really care where they book a hotel as long as they feel like they are getting the best value. So the question is, if booking direct offers the best value, which is true for the majority of the hotels, why don't these travelers just book directly on the hotel's website? Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the customer and go through the booking experience from their point of view to understand this. When a guest first visits the hotel website, they are usually not ready to book. And that's completely normal because booking a hotel isn't an impulse decision. At this stage, guests are just researching and comparing options, which can take several days or can even be weeks. The challenge for hotels is how to bring back these visitors once they are ready to book. But that's exactly where online travel agencies actually have a major advantage. You see, OTAs position themselves perfectly for the moment when a traveler has made a decision and is ready to book. In other words, OTA's entire strategy is built around capturing guests at the bottom of the funnel. Hotels, on the other hand, tend to focus their efforts more on the top of the funnel to drive awareness and website traffic. At the top, hotels are competing with other hotels for visibility, and at the bottom they would have to compete with OTAs for the final booking. But most hotels simply can't afford to fight both battles. With limited resources, it makes sense that hotels focus their efforts on the top of the funnel, but the downside of this is that once a guest discovers the property, OTAs are waiting at the finish line to capture the booking. So how can we change this dynamic? It turns out that other industries faced a similar challenge years ago and they found a way to fix it. Back in 2015, a digital marketer called Russell Brunson realized that his online ads were becoming less profitable. He discovered that people needed more trust before buying because the internet got crowded and noisy. So he built a digital sales funnel, which is really just a structured journey that keeps people engaged, builds trust, and moves them step by step toward the purchase. What he realized was that the biggest leak where interested people drop off happened in the middle of the funnel. It's the stage where people are interested but not ready to buy yet. It sounds familiar, right? That's exactly where hotels lose direct bookings to OTAs. In the middle, during the consideration stage. Guests see your hotel, they like it, but they need some time to decide, and during that time they get distracted by other offers, by competitors and OTAs. By the time they are actually ready to book, OTAs are already there, with a familiar interface, with a sense of security, and really in that moment for the customer it feels like that's the best deal. In reality we know it's not the best deal, but for the customer it feels like it is. So let's look at the sales funnel for a moment and think about how we can take advantage of it. At the top of funnel you create awareness, getting travelers to discover the property. At the bottom of funnel you focus on conversion, turning that interest into actual bookings. Hotels spend heavily at the top to drive traffic, and OTAs really dominate the bottom with highly optimized booking experiences. That leaves us with one opportunity, the middle of funnel, which is really an overlooked opportunity for hotels like it was back in 2015 when Russell started taking advantage of it. Think of it as a net that captures interested travelers and keeps them away from OTAs. It allows you to stay on top of mind and build trust with guests so that when they are finally ready to book, your direct channel will feel like the most obvious and comfortable choice. One more added benefit of a middle funnel is that it's very cost effective. It doesn't require a large budget, just some strategy and consistency. So how does it look like in practice? What strategies actually make up the middle of funnel? Again, the goal of this stage is very simple. Build trust with potential guests and stay on their radar until they are ready to book. In digital marketing, this process is called nurturing, and it typically relies on two key strategies: email marketing and retargeting ads. You might have heard the term nurture sequence. It's simply a combination of these two strategies in an order that follows how people make decisions. We create this order by basically anticipating what customers might be thinking at each stage, what information they might need, and what objections they might have. We don't present all of this information at once because that would overwhelm people. Instead, it's about presenting the right information at the right time, so customers feel informed and reassured throughout the process. So to bring it all together, how can hotels increase direct bookings without spending more on marketing? It starts with looking at bookings as a journey, not a single event. Each stage of the journey has a purpose. Top of funnel creates awareness, the middle of funnel builds trust, and the bottom of funnel drives conversion. Since the top is very expensive to scale and the bottom is dominated by OTAs, the biggest opportunity is in the middle. It's cost effective, it builds real guest relationships, relationships, and it's a proven approach that other industries have already perfected. It keeps travelers away from OTAs and helps the hotel to position direct booking as the best offer. I'm working on recording another video about the exact steps of how I would create a middle funnel for hotels. If you are interested in that, please feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn and I will share it with you once it's ready. You'll find the link to my profile in the description below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.